Welcome to the Backfield Buzz podcast, a part of the Hive Podcast Network. Cody Wiles, Logan Glover, and Andrew Foster here, as always, giving you up to date all things NFL. Week 11 in the books, and yeah, we were not here last week for an episode. That's on us. That that is on us. So, I think, fellas, what next episode we're gonna we'll recap our starts and sits from last week, hey, that we just didn't share
Yeah.
publicly. Okay, cool. Today, however, we're going to be recapping last week's action and some fun games. There was a lot of fun games. I had fun last week. Glover, how was your week and how are you doing right now?
I didn't have quite as much fun watching my team play football this week. It was, the most typical Steelers Ravens football game you could have possibly imagined. 18-16, the Steelers winning with not a single touchdown. I will say though, I I'm looking at it positively. As I've said after every Ravens loss, Ravens Twitter is such a mess. It's just like they flip on a dime, man. Many people I've seen saying the season is over, as if we don't lose to the Steelers at least once every year. Like, get over yourself. The defense looked good for once. The offense, I trust to turn it around with the way it's been playing this season. They just don't ever play well against the Steelers. I can live with it. They'll fix their problems. The defense looked better, which is what I've been looking for the last like 5 weeks.
I will say the
Frosty?
defense did definitely look better. That
Yeah.
I we said it, we were talking about it, I think in like the first quarter of that game. We were saying Justin Tucker is becoming an issue, and then it became an even bigger issue when he
He
missed another kick.
he hits either of those, we win. Like
Yeah.
that's
It
what's so tough about it.
like it at some point, do you guys ever start looking at other options at kicker?
Not with John Harbaugh. Not until Tucker retires. Harbaugh's too stubborn, I think. And I don't think it's Tucker. I think it's Stout. I From everything I've been seeing, his numbers are just continuing to regress since Stout became the holder for him. Since Sam Cook retired, he had Sam Cook his whole career, who was like one of the best holders. I think it's partially that. But it's also he's missed every kick this year wide left. Like it's weird. It's really, really weird. You better figure that shit out though.
And it's not like it's weird because I saw Brandon Aubrey miss a kick last night, but his plant foot slipped when he
Yeah,
hit.
yeah, he slipped on
So
the turf.
there was a little bit of a reason why it like Tucker's getting his footing. It looks like his mechanics are proper and well, for as much as I know about kicking.
Yeah,
And then he's just pulling everything left. It's really weird.
yeah.
Well, for what has been a pretty good year for kickers, it was like I saw a tweet where it was like the kickers just uh collectively decided 10 a.m. to get drunk for today, but
I
or
mean,
for
they're the
Sunday.
bad ones. And it was all AFC North guys too, except for Chris Boswell. Like
Yeah, Boswell was
Boswell
good.
went crazy.
Dustin Hopkins missed like two inside the 30.
And then
And
an extra point, I think.
yeah, like he was terrible. At least Tucker was missing them from some sort of range. This guy was missing chip shots by like a mile. And McPherson missed a couple too, is why they lost their game.
All right. Well, let's get into the superlatives here for week 11. Maybe when we get to worst I don't know, worst team. I don't know. We could throw the team of kickers. I don't know. All right. Let's just jump right into it as we do every week. Let's start with the best game, Frosty. What pleased your eyes in week 11?
I have Chargers Bengals. I think the Bengals are just going to be whoever they play against, they're going to be in the game of the week because they just turn everything into a shootout. This was a Chargers team that couldn't pass the ball before their bye week, and they managed to turn it into a shootout against them. They can turn a shootout against anybody. The Bengals are like must-watch TV right now, even though they're 4-7, and I love it.
Yeah. I'm going Bengals Chargers. I mean, both these teams had like three or four chances to end this game in the last 2 minutes, and all of a sudden they just stopped being able to score. It was so weird in that last fourth quarter, but the Bengals were down big, made a comeback just to end up losing it on a J.K. Dobbins touchdown. But like it was a Bengals football game, and as you said, this is must watch TV. This is the best 4-7 team I think I've ever watched. Like This team is not a 4-7 team, but they're gonna miss the playoffs. And I think Zach Taylor's got to go, and you gotta fix some holes in that defense. That defense needs to get its stuff together because there's some question marks,
Well, yeah, wasn't it the Bengals played the Ravens twice and scored like what, 9 touchdowns or something like
something
that?
like
And
that.
the Steelers played them once, didn't score a touchdown and won. That's pretty funny. I'm gonna go with Packers Bears. I mean, the game leading up to the final moments wasn't the best, but I mean, for the Packers to block that field goal, I, there's some crazy stat of the dominance of Green Bay over Chicago. I think they've won.
I think that's 11 in a row.
I was gonna say 11 or 12 in a row. So the Packers get it done, improved to 7-3. So I'm here for that. I think there's a couple other options. Maybe any Seahawks Niners, Geno Smith scrambling in.
That was pretty good. 13 seconds left in a Geno Smith scramble for the end zone. And then the 49ers, I don't know what they were trying to do on their last attempt. You have no timeouts and you throw it, or you had one timeout or whatever it was, and you still a slant to Debo Samuel and then try and lateral with 13 seconds left.
I think they were trying to do a hook and ladder. It
But
just
like
like completely did not work.
to me, I would have run at least a play to get a quick out, and then you can, I don't know, try a Hail Mary if you can get in the range. But like that was just weird.
One more game maybe up for consideration would have been the Bills taking down the big bad Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I think a lot of people, I mean, I saw this one coming, and I feel like a lot of people were just like, Buffalo wants this more, and just, I mean, honestly, it was a pretty solid matchup for Buffalo, in my opinion. So, hey, the Bills get it done. Frosty, did that shock you?
Uh, the game result didn't shock me. That last touchdown, the rushing touchdown by Josh Allen, was one of the best plays I think I've ever seen Josh Allen make. That is Josh Allen. He hasn't been running very much this year. I was talking to our resident Bills fan, Nick. I was talking to him about it, and he said they're probably just telling him stay in the pocket and stay healthy, and then turn it loose in the playoffs. But when you get in a matchup like this, he just takes over. He has to take over, and that's what he did.
The one thing, like, I think it had to be this game the Chiefs had to lose. The only other ones they're going to lose on their schedule was maybe the divisional ones because all three of those teams played them well earlier in the year. But the thing I've been seeing a little too often is the amount of people talking like, okay, the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs this year. The Bills, frankly, own the Chiefs in the regular season. They've won the last four regular season matchups, but every one of those years they lost in the playoffs too. Like, I don't, to me, this doesn't change uh the playoff implicate. It doesn't change the playoff, like the idea around it, the sort of vibe around this
Atmosphere.
playoff game. Yeah, the atmosphere of these two teams in the playoffs. The Chiefs are still the favorite. The Chiefs still own the Bills in the playoffs. This doesn't change who I'd be taking in a game Chiefs Bills in the playoffs, but it's a good win and they really did need it. But yeah, like I think people are getting a little too ahead of themselves as they typically do after a big game like this, but it's nice to see the Chiefs knocked off their high horse.
All right. Worst game. I mean, oh, I see this every week. It's like, okay, you can look at Lions Jaguars where it's just an absolute pounding. For a second, I was talking to Over about it in the moment. I thought Detroit put up 52 unanswered. But that's not how it went. I think Jacksonville started the game off winning 3-0, and then Detroit rattled off a bunch of points before Jacksonville ended up getting the second three. So did you guys go with like a game like that, or did you end up going with like I mean, I don't know, like Steelers Ravens wasn't particularly interesting to watch.
No, but at least it was close. I think Lions Jags is a much worse game. I mean, Broncos Falcons is also pretty bad too. Like
Yeah.
I went Lions Jags though. I mean, the Lions just killed them. Like it was we looked at the game earlier. The Lions were minus 900 money line and the spread was 14 and a half. And they covered by a lot.
And the
The
over was
I
like
think it was
49 and a
49.
half.
And
Yeah.
I was saying the Lions just need like 48 points and the over will hit. The Lions hit the over on their own. Like I really thought about betting on this over because the Lions just were going to kill them. And that was just I don't know how Doug Peterson has a job today. I'll be told, how does he have a job right now?
This that's two of the most embarrassing games back to back. Their defense actually showed up against the Vikings. They picked off Sam Darnold three times. I don't think they let them score a touchdown, and they lost 12-7. And then you go and get absolutely ran out of the building by the Detroit Lions now, who, in all fairness, are the best team in football
Yeah,
right now. I don't think that's
yes,
questionable. But like that was just embarrassing.
yeah. I also love how the Lions are the one team in the league that no matter how much they're up by, they'll just keep the starters in. Like
Yep.
Amon-Ra St. Brown scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter to put it 49-6. Like in the Falcons Broncos, there was like 8 minutes left, and both teams taking out their starters. But not the Lions. They will run up that score and make sure they get every touchdown celebration, and it is hilarious to watch.
Yeah, I think Broncos over Falcons was also
Yeah,
also a tougher watch, kind of surprising, honestly. Like I think that I mean Denver really that defense is got to be putting some legitimate respect on it. Okay, well, I mean every time we do this, I mean worst team
it's the
is
Jets.
obviously yeah, right. Like
It's
we
the
just kind of
Jets.
touched on it.
It's the Jets.
Really, I thought we were gonna be coming on here like Doug Peterson's not gonna have a job. I keep checking the phone just to
Right?
see if gonna
I don't
get
know
the.
how, like
I
It's a
mean, I
tough team.
didn't. I mean, here. Well, there was a firing that we could talk about. The Jets letting go of Joe Douglas, which I don't know.
Yeah.
Not so
I
sure if it's deserved. To be fair, I don't think what's happening is on Joe Douglas, but them's the breaks.
I think it is though, because realistically, he's the general manager. He's the one that went out and got Aaron Rodgers. It was no secret what kind of person Aaron Rodgers was. He's gonna go in there and he's gonna bully his way into getting his way and his team that he wants. And when it doesn't work, it's on the GM for listening to him and doing everything that he said, and now it's failing and blowing up in your face.
Yeah, I think it's tough because the other thing to consider is his contract was up at the end of the year, which I think was a big factor. He just wasn't going to come back regardless. But I don't put it fully on him, but I understand you got to keep throwing blame around. Like you kind of have to. But I don't like he built a good roster. He has made very few mistakes. He just hasn't been able to figure out the quarterback position. But like he has been a great drafter with the exception of the Zach Wilson pick. He has made some really good trades with the exception of the Aaron Rodgers trade. Like every one of his moves has been really good with the exception of anything involving the quarterback position. Like drafting Sauce Gardner, drafting Garrett Wilson, I think Quinn Williams was one of his picks as well.
Brees.
Brees Hall, the building up that O line. It's been slow, but he's got it there through some good moves. The defense is elite, and there's so much talent there. Jermaine Johnson was a great draft pick. Will McDonald's really broken out. Hassan Reddick, you built up Bryce Hoff. Like he's done some really good things with that roster.
Yeah, but regardless, he's out, and like you mentioned, the 1 year left on his deal definitely played a part in that. Let's do the best team though. I mean, like, let's not say Detroit. Let's not say Detroit. I'll give it. I'll let you guys pick anybody else but Detroit. Frosty,
I didn't have Detroit as mine, actually.
great.
I have the Bills. You
Okay.
you took down the undefeated, the big bad Chiefs, the big bad Patrick Mahomes. I think that that alone makes them the best team this week.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I went Bills. I was gonna go Lions because that was just embarrassing. But yeah, it was the Bills, if not, because you beat the undefeated team. You don't get caught in the voodoo magic. You avoided it. You went up early and you just finished the job. You did a really good game. Defense played well, forced some big turnovers. Offense played well. Josh Allen was clutch. But yeah, that was that.
Yeah, making a clean sweep here for the Buffalo Bills. 196 yards for Pat Mahomes, three touchdowns, two INTs containing Patty, which he's been pretty contained all year. So
Oh yeah,
that really wasn't too shocking. Couple of I think both picks were pretty
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 questionable.
suspect, like they usually are for him this year.
He's got more
Okay,
picks than games played right now. And it's he after that game he shot down MVP odds like just like fell off a cliff as he should have. But like yeah, I think it's 11 picks in 10 games now. The two in this game, yeah, the first one he was getting sacked, but he also threw it to nobody. And the second one he just floated it like absolutely left it up for grabs. Like there was a jump like not even a jump ball. He just under threw it.
and then who do you think shot up the MVP pods as
Yeah.
Josh Allen is currently now the favorite at plus 150. Lamar Jackson's still up there, Jared Goff's still up there.
I think
But
Herbert deserves more credit. I really do. He played amazing against the Bengals.
he's not in
I
the top
was
eight.
I was gonna say that. I think Herbert should be top five.
I think he's 3 or 4 for me. Like when I go through my rankings, I still go Lamar. He had a bad game, but I still go Lamar. Then I go Allen. Then I go Herbert. And then like Burrow and Kyler are my top five. Like that's I really think Herbert has been amazing this year, and he's beating good teams. He's playing the best football of his career because he finally has a good, competent coach working with him.
Yeah, I think he's my three too. I'd probably still go Lamar one, Allen two, Herbert three, and then I'd probably go Burrow and Goff.
Goff, it's really hard to look behind, look past his bad. Like
Th-
that's the thing. They
Yeah,
all have had a bad game, but like his bad game was just so bad, and they still won.
yeah. Like
So
it was a bad
that was a
game.
bad game. But I really, yeah, I think it's a two-man race. I really don't see anyone catching
Yeah,
Allen or Lamar. I think the Lamar's just playing his best football of his career, and Allen's got the narrative working in his favor that he kind of needs one. I think I really hope again, I say this all the time. I really hope it doesn't come to this as it has in multiple leagues over the past few years. I really hope it doesn't come down to, well, we'll give it to Allen because he's been so good for so long, he deserves it. That's what happened with Joel Embiid. It's been happening across all sorts of leagues. It's a narrative thing, and I hate that. I don't care if he's been so good for so long, be the best, get the MVP. If he earns it, go for it. Give it to Allen.
All right, let's move over to offensive player of the week. And to be honest, I just have the Lions box score pulled up. So we can all take our pick. Would you rather go Jared Goff? Would you rather go Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Uh,
Maybe the running backs deserve a shout, but as much as I would like to, shove a Joe Mixon in there, shove whoever else, it's tough to look past Goff, who 412 yards for four
uh,
touchdowns with a rating of 158, or Amon-Ra St. Brown, 11 catches for 161 yards and two touchdowns. And he had 11 targets. He caught every target. So I'm gonna give it to both of them. I'm splitting it between both of them because they were on the same page all night. And I mean, this was expected. The Jaguars can't defend at all. So
yeah, I mean, when I was betting on this game, I really I took a second to go, do I take like Monty, Amon-Ra, and Gibbs to score a touchdown? Like, do I like I could see them all just doing it, and they did. It was like the first half. All three of them had a touchdown. Monty had two. Amon-Ra got a second. JMO got one. Brock Wright got one. I, it could just be the Lions' offense as the offensive player of the week. Like that's just the team.
no Taysom Hill.
He's going somewhere
yeah,
else. He's
go
going somewhere
ahead.
Eight.
else.
Yeah.
So I kept him out of my surprise,
Huh.
but I put him as my offensive player of the week.
Go ahead.
I won't go too far into it, but 8 catches for 50 yards, 7 carries for 138 and three touchdowns. Like this guy's just an absolute monster. Did you know he's like 35 years old too?
Yeah.
I thought he was like
So
27.
he's been 27 for like 5 years now. He's just he's the same guy. Taysom Hill is an enigma. You cannot explain what Taysom Hill does.
Has there ever been like just a better football player than Taysom Hill in the NFL? Like he does everything. He's their kick returner
The
too.
problem is he's so below average at all of it. Like he's just not There's nothing
But
he's
he does
actually good at. He just does it all at like
he
kind
just
of an
does
average level.
everything though. Like
Like
it's unbelievable.
I don't know how when in the future I don't know how we're going to explain to the next generation who Taysom Hill was. Yeah, he was
Like
this guy who was like a third string quarterback for 5 years, eventually became a backup, then became a tight end and would catch passes. Then he was a wide receiver and he played running back. He also returned kicks for a while there. It's like like he's not a real person. It feels like a Madden make a player. He just plays every spot and every couple of weeks just does this.
Yeah, he's just always gonna go off for this crazy stat line at least once a year. So good for Taysom Hill. But yeah, I will say Joe Mixon a little bit because I mean 109 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns at 44 yards in the air. That's pretty good. But
There, two other guys I do want to shout out in
go
this
ahead.
conversation. Saquon Barkley had nearly 200 total yards and 2 touchdowns. And then T. Higgins also was amazing. He had 9 catches in his return game for 148 and a touchdown. Almost got the Hail Mary too, which would have really that would have given him a crazy boost to his stat line, adding like another 60 yards and a touchdown. But yeah, he was really good and he's not losing. Jamar Chase was also really good, but that offense is so good. They're using both of them so well, and Chase Brown was amazing too. Like, that offense is great.
All right. Defensive player of the week. Where did you guys end up going, Frost?
there wasn't a ton of options this week, I found. I wanted to shout out a guy. He played great this week and he's played unbelievable all year long. I picked Zach Bond. 9 solo tackles, 16 or 15 total. Zach Bond might be a top 5 linebacker after this season. Like this guy's playing like one of the best linebackers at the position right now. After Fred Warner and Roquan Smith, I don't know how many people you can take above Zach Bond right now.
He's gonna get
Yeah,
paid.
Oh yeah.
yeah. He was really good. He had a really good day. And he's been good all season. The linebacker position is just so wide open for someone to sort of jump into that top tier conversation. I'm going with another Raven just like last week, but Odafe Owa had a good breakout game. He has been really like he did just get a break his career high in sacks this game for the season, but he's been pretty quiet this year, really been waiting for a breakout game. He had 2.5 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, 5 tackles, 2 of them tackles for loss. Really should have had 3.5 sacks. He had a sack that was called back because of a Steeler. The Steelers took a penalty on the play or something like that. And but he was in the backfield constantly. He was making a fool out of either side. He was running over Dan Moore Jr. and he was running over Broderick Jones. It didn't matter. He was playing really, really well that game.
Yeah, both fair guys. There was a couple. Man, there's so many. Like Terrell Bernard for the Bills had a good day. He was big for them. Pass deflection, QB hit, 8 tackles. The Texans secondary looked great. Like literally, they were all over. Like Derek Stingley should have had like 3 picks that game. Bullock should have had another pick, but I didn't go with them just because Cooper Rush was throwing the ball and he threw the ball 55 times. Cooper
Yeah.
Rush
At
because the
what so I won't get into it right now. I'll save it till the end, but there's no way you can have Cooper Rush throwing the ball 55 times.
but when you can't run the ball.
It's a disaster.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
disaster. Again, I think Trey Lance gives you something Cooper Rush doesn't. I really do. He cannot be that bad. He cannot be that bad. Like his legs will help. I think they will help open up the run game, open up the pass game. I really do.
All right, well,
I'd much
let's.
rather have Trey Lance out there than Cooper Rush right now.
Yes. Agreed.
I'll also give a shout out to let's go Ernest Jones. I think that's the fourth. Ernest Jones the fourth.
I'm not
Uh
doing Roman numerals, so I wouldn't know.
IV, 13 total tackles and just it containing Purdy and McCaffrey like that. The 49ers offense was pretty looked pretty bleak in this one, and he was a big reason why. Okay.
He's been traded twice this year, and he's
Yeah.
really playing well in Seattle.
Yeah, he's found a home there. So, I mean, good for him. Good for him. And let's move over to rookie of the week now. Glover, Which one of the young bulls stood out to you in week 11?
I love me some Lad McConkey, but it's Brock Bowers this week. It really was the week of the white play. Brock Bowers, Lad McConkey, Bo Nix was great. Braden Fiske was my best defensive rookie, but Brock Bowers was amazing. He broke the single game record for rookie catches at a tight end with 13. He was just like unstoppable, and he's on pace to smash all the records Puka Nacua set last year as a tight end. But 13 catches on 16 targets for 126 yards and a touchdown. That's offensive player of the week numbers. He did it as a rookie and in a loss. He's been probably the best, most consistent tight end in football this year, and he's 21. This guy's got a bright future.
I'm glad you said him because I was going back and forth between him and Bo Nix. I've I've talked down on Bo Nix a lot. I still don't think Bo Nix is that great of a quarterback for the future, but he almost had as many touchdowns as incompletions this game. It's tough to not. It's tough to not. 28 for 33, 307 yards, four touchdowns, no interceptions, and he looked good throwing the ball deep for the first time this year. I'm gonna give it to Bo Nix.
I think there was a learning curve for Bo when he first came in, but I mean the defense held in for them to get some early W's, and now he's really starting to like this is now like 4 or 5 weeks of Bo Nix like really looking good, and I think there's a conversation to be had about rookie of the year for Bo Nix over Jaden Daniels, who has partly due to injury, partly because he's playing tougher teams now, who has been struggling a little bit. But I ended up going with Brock Bowers, mostly because I have him in a dynasty league. But yeah, Glover, you laid out the numbers, and he had 13 catches. The rest of the team had 17 combined. So he was absolutely fantastic. He's been Gardner Minshew's like favorite target. So let's go to the surprise player of the week. Where I think I had Taysom Hill. Like it just really Taysom Hill was just slotted in for 1 week for the surprise player. So I that was definitely surprising.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. I mean, it is the Browns. I mean, only the Browns would let you score a 75-yard rushing touchdown as Taysom Hill. I don't know how nobody can catch a 31-year-old tight end quarterback thing. Like, there's this, I don't know,
Thing.
man. It was just weird.
Thing.
Like, I don't
Thing.
know what to
Just
call him. I don't know what to label him, man. I don't know what position he plays. He's just
he's just
like,
a football player,
he's just
man.
a
Like
football.
it's ridiculous.
Oh,
He's an athlete.
he's an athlete. He's Travis Hunter before Travis Hunter.
Yeah,
Travis
basically
Hunter
what
wishes he was.
the only positions that I mean Taysom just doesn't play defense, right? That's really it.
I'm
I mean
sure he
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 had
used to
defensive
though.
snaps.
He used to.
oh yeah?
Yeah, he used to. I think I
Like
want
in
to
the
say he was a
NFL.
DB. Yeah, I swear he's taken defensive reps
I think
before.
you're right. I do think he has.
I'm like almost positive he's taken defensive reps.
Dude, Sean Payton
Wild.
loved him. Sean Payton
Yeah.
loved him. And every coach since then has been like an internal hire. So like, okay, Taysom, keep going. Like they all just love him.
All right, well maybe future Bronco, Taysom Hill, pair him with Bo Nix. Who knows? All right. Well, wait, so Frosty, was that your surprise player too, or you went somewhere
No,
different then, right?
no, mine's gonna be a little bit different. I'm taking Luke Schoonmaker.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Jake Ferguson went out with a concussion in the first half, and Luke Schoonmaker, the backup tight end for Dallas, had 6 catches for 56 yards and 10 targets from Cooper Rush. He turned into the number two option on this team for absolutely no reason. And Ferguson has a concussion now. If that were to continue, does Luke Schoonmaker have fantasy relevance?
I I mean, hey, that's
Like
they were getting reps on the scout team together, so maybe, they have that chemistry already built up, right?
they should be a rapport. Like it looked like there was already 10 targets in basically only the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, you
he's
would know
better
better
than
than
last
either of
week.
us for sure. You would know better than maybe Schoonmaker your start next week. Is that a preview? Uh-oh.
We'll see. We'll see.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, that does the superlatives for week 11. Flew through this one, I think. I think we were We were fast on this one. But I mean, anything else you guys want to bring up? Anything else you notice in the week? Anything that's, got you in a tizzy or that you're really excited to see? We got a couple minutes here.
So I want to say so I've never seen this penalty called. It was in the Dallas Houston game. Have you ever seen a D tackle called for holding on a run play?
Oh, that's not what I thought you were
Oh,
about to go with.
I thought you were saying something else. No, that one was also weird.
I
Because I thought that big play was coming. Was that the Joe Mixon big like catch and run?
No, it was after it was the second play of the game. So it was after you guys scored the touchdown, had it called back for the illegal man downfield, and then Mozzie Smith got called for a hold as a D tackle on a run play. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going to say something else. There
Yeah.
was Derek Barnett got called for a head slap,
Yeah.
and that is why it was a 15-yard penalty that the Cowboys got to continue their drive after Aubrey nailed the field goal. I mean, it ended up working out so for Houston, but a head slap,
There's
15
no way.
yards.
There's no way that's the formal term for it. Like I could have like I was so shocked when the ref got on the mic and was just like 15-yard penalty, head slap, number 95. The hell's a head slap?
I mean, they showed the replay, and that was definitely the name
There was
does it
definitely
does it justice.
He slapped his head.
Now, a couple oh man, it was a flag fest on Monday
oh
night,
dude.
which was like not shocking. Like that was
It
expected.
it was expected. Like we're like two of the what five most penalized teams
All
in
three of
football.
us cheer
Yeah.
for teams that are just very undisciplined,
Very
unfortunately.
undisciplined. But it's also
It's
Monday
so
Night Football
frustrating.
games. There's been penalty like every Monday Night Football game these past like 5 weeks has been just a flag fest.
And I mean, Ravens are next Monday as well, so it should
Horrible.
continue.
It's the horrible.
It is the horrible. But yeah, that should continue. Other other games that are big next week. I mean, I'm looking at it. Niners, Packers, Cardinals, Seahawks, Eagles, Rams, Ravens, Chargers. I think like two games of the 4 p.m. slate and then the two primetime games on Sunday and Monday. Other than that, fellas, I don't know. We might be coming up. It doesn't look too enticing next week, but I think that'll do it. Um, Thanks for watching the Backfield Buzz podcast. We promise this week we are coming out with our start sits and our best bets. We'll recap what we would have done last week. You're just gonna have to believe us that we did it.
That's the
Um,
trust.
but that'll do it for the fellas. Andrew Foster, Logan Glover, Cody Wiles here, and as always, keep it buzzing.